Good evening, everyone. How are we keeping? I know we are early. I'll explain why in a second. There's a logic to the madness, as they say. I think that might be just a bit too loud. I know usually it's 6:30 and stuff at 6 o'clock, but it's not even 6 o'clock. I planned to start at 6, but of course, um, basically, I have homework to do tonight, basically, um, from Monday and stuff, so I still have that to do. So that's basically why we're early, because it's going to take me a long time to decipher this homework. Let's put it that way. Good evening, Brian. I hope we're well this Wednesday evening. So that's the reason why, yeah, I'm early, and why we're early. Usually it's 6:30, so we're usually live at. Uh, we're supposed to be live at 6, so we're early, but that's the only reason why, because I have a bit of homework to do, and it's a good bit of writing and stuff. So it's going to take a while to get through it all. So yeah, so I wanted to kind of get the live stream done so I can attach into that, because it's not until Friday. I could leave it to tomorrow, but I just want to get it out of the way this evening. Hello, Tony. Good evening. How are we keeping? How's our Wednesday going? How is business? I hope all is well around where you are. But yeah, so yeah, that's the only reason why we're early tonight. So yeah, I've been nearly finished this thing already. I only started them, nearly finished already. Because it's only a few months, which is insane. So I've just started and then finished it. Now let's see, just one moment. So yeah, apologies, sir. Just tricking about here. But yeah, so how are we all keeping? How are we doing? Any fun? I hope everybody's enjoying the good weather. It's been a great few days. Tomorrow now it's given piss and wet rain. It's given just a wet day tomorrow, just all day. So I hope everybody's looking forward to that. But it is very warm. It is really, really warm. Yeah, so it's been warm the last. But it's been very humid. Like the clothes been sticking to you, basically. Particularly Monday. Monday was very humid, like very warm and stuff. You could be on to something there. No, I say it when I'm finished. And I can't say it now, but I say it when I'm finished. Finished. No, I say when I finish the thing. We see. Because there might be some truth to that. That's what I say. You might be actually onto something though, but in the good way. Because you won't believe me, when I tell you. But I wait until I'm finished it all. It's not tonight's thing, like the thing I'm doing tonight. But the last few things, I suppose. But yeah, it's very funny when I tell the story of it. But yeah, let's put it this way. But yeah, but tonight it's just a lot of fucking bullshit. Well, it's not really bullshit. It's just a lot of writing. It's going to be an awful lot of writing. So it's going to take a long, long time, basically, what I'm trying to say. So that's why I wanted to get it done, because it's going to be torture. Because basically we have to kind of, how would I put this? Basically you get a page, right? And it's just kind of loads of writing and stuff. And you kind of have to decipher it in a way. Like the whole meaning of it, etc. Like it's critical thinking skills, I suppose, is the way to put it. And I suppose reading through things and stuff. I don't know how you would, yeah, but kind of like critical thinking. Like trying to decipher what the person's talking about, the situation, etc. So yeah, it's hard to describe. If I was showing you when the thing's all said and done with, I show you it all, basically what I was doing and stuff. And I talk about what I was doing, but at the moment I just don't want to give too much away. Well, not give too much away, but you know. Jesus Christ, nobody's here today at all. Everybody's left me. But no, I am early. Like usually we're at 6:30, and a lot of people just come home from work. See, the thing about me now, obviously being at college and stuff, I used to be coming home at 5 o'clock. like from work when I was full time working. Now I'm home at 1 o'clock. I'm home at half one, actually. Excuse me. I'm home at half one. Like I was home at half one today. I just done a few things around the house and that was it. Like it was a clear difference between coming home at 5 o'clock, in the evening, sometimes half five, and going straight live, and coming home at half one. It's quite a difference. Um, Compared to 40-hour week compared to a 19 and a half hour week. Basically, it's 20 hours, basically, you could say, but it's 19 and a half hours technically. Um, so, yeah, it's a great difference between the 2 hours, like the two walking hours. Um, but yeah, no, I could have been live earlier on. I could have been live here at 4 o'clock, to be totally honest. Um, but yeah, that won't last forever. Because you won't find it too August to roll around, and then there'll be no time to do anything. So yeah, but all going well apart from that in the college course. As I say, we're nearly finished. It's quite funny, but yeah, it's all going well. Which lodge? What lodge? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Some walker, do you mean? Yeah, all's good. All's good. All's good in the hood. We talk about that. It's one thing you probably should talk about, but we wait until a few more minutes and we talk about it. But yeah, so yeah, that's why I'm starting early. That's why we are a bit early in general, just because I wanted to kind of get it done this evening, even though we could do it tomorrow evening. I should have probably done it last night. I just didn't feel up to it last night. I came home and I was like, oh, I couldn't be bothered really to do it last night. So I kind of want to get it done tonight and be done with it. Because it isn't that it's not that much, but for somebody with dyslexia, it's a lot. Like the questions and stuff, like we're talking about a good few lines and stuff. We're talking about maybe 2 pages, based on what I'm trying to say. So it's an awful lot too when you're dyslexic and stuff. It's not easy to kind of some way good grammar and stuff. So they say. What is this? Sorry. Of course, why not? It's unfortunate that your notifications doesn't go out and stuff. It is unfortunate, but we'll get started in a second, just because there's a good few things we want to talk about. So we'll probably be finished at 7 anyway, just to be done with early today. But the first thing I want to talk about is Tony was just saying about Butters Bridge. Your man at the Derrigower here in Butters Bridge you've probably heard about it before, the Derrigower Inn. They're talking about having a kind of hydro. It's hard to describe, but it's kind of things in the water, like in the river, that produce power for his place. Like it's going to be the first in the country for it here in Ireland. Now, will it work out and all that? That's left to be seen. But, people were saying in the comments and stuff of my community post that the ESB could oppose it and stuff. That hasn't happened yet. Nobody in the local community has opposed it either, because there was a community meeting about it and nobody really objected to it. Nobody objected to it. Nobody objected at all to it. Because obviously it's going to be out of the way of people. It's not going to be in people's way. So we'll see how that goes, because that's going to be a big thing when that happens, because it's the first in the country, if it does happen and stuff. So it's going to be a big thing, really, really is. Because it's a unique idea. It's not that it's been probably never thought about before, up until recently. So it's a unique thing. You see when it happens. No, well, geez, they don't. Look at this. Like, if notifications was out, there'd be about 10 people here, maybe. Because the amount of people who always come to me, like Sean and stuff, be like, "Oh, got no notification." Like every week, like Sean or somebody comes and says, what the fuck? Skippity. Let me see. Sorry, I'm just moving something there. Yeah, Gordon too. Like Gordon hasn't been here in a while, but that's because he probably hasn't got notifications. That's as simple as that. He hasn't got the notification. Like I can't tell you the amount of people who've come in here and said, "Oh, I haven't got I didn't get notification. Oh, I didn't know you were live because I didn't get notification." Like it's insane amount of people when you add it all up. Um, but yeah, that's that. Um, so the other thing I wanted to talk about, we talked a good bit about it last week, was to do with the jet fuel and stuff. So Ryanair has come out and said, Emmanuel Ryanair, Michael Leary, has come out and said that he has probably enough to do to the end of June. Now, originally he said the end of May, he would only have enough to. So they have a bit more now, and it's starting to kind of, they're starting to get a bit more, if that makes any sense. So it's it's hard to know, but still, I say there probably will be places like airlines, Aer Lingus and stuff, probably will have to cancel flights eventually. Now, who knows when that's going to happen, but it will happen soon. It's very certain that there will be people will have to miss the summer holidays and stuff. It will happen, unfortunately. It's inevitable pretty much at this stage because it doesn't look like the Iran conflict is going to work itself out anytime soon. Now, not even going into the next thing we go into too, but it doesn't look like anything's moved anyway. Like nothing has happened. Basically, the Straits of Hormuz is still closed. Nothing has changed. Basically, to put it nicely to you, nothing has changed. So we're pretty much still at square one, basically. Nothing has moved. Nothing has changed. There's no kind of peace deal. The ceasefire is still there, but for how much longer, who knows? But good evening, Aaron. How are we keeping? You think I'm in Helsinki, do you? But yeah, it's still up in the air. So who knows? To be totally honest, it probably will start again, like bombing and stuff. At the moment, there's no bombing and stuff, as far as we know. Um, but pretty much, what I mean to say is, the price of oil and petrol and everything is still going up. Like it's not going down; it's still going up. So there's no lead back there. And probably the worst is yet to come, especially when you're coming into the winter months. Hopefully, be sorted by the winter months, but particularly people needed that when that happens, when it comes to the cold evenings, etc. Now, so obviously, the other thing I want to talk about is just before I go to the other bit, is about the two by-elections. Now, Dublin Central and Galway West, Galway West. Of course, Catherine Connolly is up there on the hill and President of Ireland, obviously a former Chocty Jala for Galway West, so that's a by-election there. And of course, Pascal Donoghue, who left his country to go off and join the World Bank, along with 10 million euro. So basically, they have to replace Pascal Donoghue too. So we see who goes. Jerry the Hutch is going. Like he put his name forward. He's going for it. He's going to go for it. He probably will win it. To be totally honest, it'd be a great thing to show because like when he was going for that time in the election, like there was media from America, from other parts of the world talking about Jerry the Monk Hutch. And it kind of wasn't like it kind of showed up the establishment a lot, and the media in Ireland had a meltdown. So OT would have a meltdown. The whole media would have a meltdown. So hopefully, maybe he might get in, but I don't know. They're saying about just talking about Dublin Central, Malachy Stevens and stuff is talking about going the Independent. Now I don't see. We were just talking about actually Stevens. You must have had my mind there, no, but it's hard to know. I don't know. I don't think Malachy Stevens is going to do that well. To be totally honest with you. Who else? Was somebody else was going for the can't think of it now. I can't think of it now. But I don't know. But it'd be something if the Hutch did get in, but I don't know. Would you not agree? Because do you not remember the last time the media literally had a meltdown? Like those people on OT. I remember listening to them. Like they were talking about it like if he was going to kill everybody, basically. Like, that's the way they were going on about. Like you think he had a nuclear bomb or something like that, the Hutch. Because they literally were freaking out. Like in OT, they were actually literally freaking out. Like commentators and stuff. They were actually literally going to pull the hair out because they were that. I don't know, that like just like insane about it. And he nearly got in. Like that's the thing. He nearly did get in. But it kind of would suit them because let's be fair, the biggest gangsters in the country are in Dáil Éireann. So, But I don't know. We see what happens. But I don't know who else is the alternative. Like the our good friend, the Lord Mayor of Dublin, who spent 6,000 euro. That's another thing we at the top. But 6,000 euro on a flight to California, of course, all business class, all the luxuries inquired. That doesn't even include. That doesn't even include his accommodation and stuff. So it could be fucking 11, 15,000 euro. He didn't pay for it. We paid for it. So isn't that lovely? Of a false hero. Maybe so, but I don't know. But I don't think like the Hutch would be too bothered, working with the government. Let's put it that way. I don't think the government. You get what I'm saying. I don't think he would be too fond of the establishment. Considering that the Irish state put him in prison, etc., for a few years and stuff. So I don't think he'd be that too fond of working with the establishment stuff. Maybe I could be wrong, but you know, I don't know about that one. Um, I think even crooks have a bit of honor, like criminals and stuff. They have a bit of honor in them than working with the scumbags, and Doyle and Chandler. Yeah, I think he has a bit of maybe has a bit of honor in that regard. But we see what happens. It's going to be hard to know. But a lot of people, like you have to remember no, particularly Dublin Central, the poorest area in the country, like the most impoverished area in the country. Like the majority of young people and stuff don't have jobs. There's no work. There's nothing for them. A lot of them are on drugs or alcoholics, etc. There's a huge amount of homelessness. Like we're talking about the most impoverished area in the whole country, not even Dublin City, the whole country, where people can't get any jobs, can't do anything, basically, are stuck in lives of crime, etc. So it's a very tough situation, and there's nothing has got better, unfortunately, than north in the city. Um, so a lot of people just want some different than the politician in the suit in the way too. That's what a lot of people be looking for there, because again, Marilyn McDonald is there and nowhere to be found. Um, Pascal Donoghue done very little for anybody around there too. A lot of them do very little, but yeah, we see what happens. But I don't know. Malachy Stevens is going. That fellow, that's the Lord Mayor of Dublin, Ryan Suppin, with his 6,000 euro business class ticket, he's going for it. There's no word of him paying that back. You think that would be the first thing he say? I pay the money back, or I take a pay cut and stuff. No word about that. And of course, he won't. Like, I don't know if anybody's seen his video, but he's literally running for Fine Gael, and he never mentioned Fine Gael. So he must be embarrassed to be Fine Gael. Yeah, the note in the city too. Yeah, it's become an issue. Particularly in the note in the city, it's very noticeable. But Michal, we'll go into that later on. But Michal Martin came out with something today. Michal. Um, he's actually talking sense for once. I don't know what happened to him today, but he's actually talking some sense for the first time ever in his life. So it's a miracle. Watch the World Cup. I don't think it will. Well, there'll be very few people going to the World Cup because Donald Trump wants the CEO of social media. Like it's a bit mad. But speaking about Donald Trump, we should have probably talked about this at the beginning, but everybody's kind of forgotten about it at this stage. So it's about the thing that happened in the Hilton in Washington D.C. The attempted assassination probably of Donald Trump. We don't know was it him specifically he was after, but I think he was just after to cause chaos. Now, to be totally honest with you, it's all kind of very unbelievable because the whole idea of it that he was able to bring a shotgun in, to an area that has huge amount of security. I don't know how he could do it. Like there was thousands of officers and stuff at the Secret Service there. I don't know how he can march in with a shotgun. Around the place with a shotgun. I don't get that bit. And especially, you have to remember. You think Donald Trump would be saying, "I nearly got killed. I should be probably quiet," but this is the thing. He was literally like the first thing that came out of his mouth was about his ballroom. Like, imagine if somebody's trying to kill you. Right? Take what's up, somebody's trying to kill you. Would you turn around and say, "Oh, my ballroom, my balls"? Excuse me. But would you be like, "Yeah, my ballroom. We need a ballroom." Like literally everybody's on about this fucking ballroom. Like, if you were going to be shot and killed, would you not be worried about I was nearly killed, and about the person who was trying to kill you? Instead of worrying about the fucking ballroom. Like I never heard such thing. Like everybody's on about the ballroom. Like Donald Trump straight away was like, "We need the ballroom." Like it's all very sus. Like it really is very sus. I don't believe it. And especially I don't believe how he could have a shotgun. Like a shotgun's not an easy thing to conceal. And how he was able to just to barge in. And how he wasn't shot too. Like the Secret Service shot him. Like shot at him. And they didn't shoot him and kill him. Like, what is going on here? And especially because he was booked the room upstairs in the hotel. You think the Secret Service would have probably looked into the people's rooms to see do they have weapons or anything, like when the things literally happened above them. But it was all very sus because a lot of things should have been done that probably shouldn't be done. But who knows? It could have been legitimate. Who knows? It's suppose it's the modern world. But I know for a fact if somebody was trying to kill me, I wouldn't turn around and say we need a ballroom. I would say we need an investigation. We need something to be looked into here. I wouldn't just turn around and say let's get a ballroom going. Let's. But anyway, hello Fiona. Good evening. Doesn't make any sense. Speaking about Argentina, when Tony just mentioned about Argentina is talking about the Falkland Islands. We talked about this before. I talked about it in the video. But the vice president of Argentina, basically told the British people on the Falkland Islands to go back home to Britain. Now I don't know if they noticed, but it is a part of Britain. I'm not a fan of the British all the time, but it is a part of Britain. Like Britain had to fight to keep it. And not even that too. The people of the Falkland Islands, 99% of the people voted to stay in the United Kingdom. So yeah. What are you on with? He's learned how to hide the gun by asking how. What the fuck? you're making assumptions against Canada. But yeah. But nobody's going to go to the World Cup because Donald Trump looking for what they say on social media. So, like, would you go to America now and be what the CEO? Let me show you you show me your Twitter, show me your Facebook. Are you making any anti-Israel tweets? Actually, speaking of anti-Israel and stuff, the UK ambassador to the United States has basically said that Israel is the special relationship. You know the way they say with the United Kingdom, that the United Kingdom and the United States has a special relationship. Well, Israel, he said basically Israel has that instead of the United Kingdom. So, very tough things. But no, the people of the Falkland Islands decided overwhelmingly to stay with the British. So I couldn't tell you actually, Donna, but I presume not. I don't think Finland's that big of a football team like in soccer. They're not bothered really that much. They're more ice hockey and stuff. They like that more than that. So I presume not. Maybe I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I don't think they'd be that bothered with it, to be totally honest. That's just to be totally honest with you. I don't think they would be that bothered. The Eurovision's actually happening next month. What do you mean? They'll be gone, and then they have to do it soon if they're going to do it, because this time next year they're going to cease to exist. Like they will, like the next elections next year, next April, for the general election in Finland. And I don't know if you know this, but it's total annihilation. The true Finns are going to face. It's total. Like it is really just total annihilation. Like total. Like they're just going to be obliterated. Like they're just totally obliterated because they're hemorrhaging support as we speak and stuff. So they're not going to exist. If they do exist, there'll be only about one of them left. That's all that's going to be left. There's going to be nobody left in the true Finns. They're just totally gone. They're just gone. They're done for. So yeah, they would love to do that, but again, they're still blaming San and Marin for things now, like things that are happening now. They blame them for things, Jason, we all have Finnish names. But yeah, the Eurovision, Ireland's not going to be in it this year. Not much lost to anybody, but we see what happens there, how that goes. But yeah, so we see how that goes. So yeah, what to talk about actually Mihol's comments today. I don't know if anybody seen Mihol. I get a Finland soccer team. I did see one in one of the shops that were nearly €200 for one, like just a jersey. It was 200 something euro. I was going to get it. I was tempted to get it because it's nice looking jersey, not that bad, but it's 200 something euro, for a soccer jersey, Finnish soccer jersey. And this is only in an owner shop, so you would hate to see if you were getting a signed one or something. Hello, Saoirse. Good evening. How are we keeping? How are we keeping this evening? How is our Wednesday going? How's our week going, I suppose, too? What was I saying? But Mihol, yes, sorry, Mihol. Mihol is actually, he must have hit his head or something last night because he actually was talking some sense this morning. For the first time in a long time, he was actually talking sense, Mihol. So imagine that. That he was actually talking sense because he was saying about homeless figures in this country. And he's right in saying it because I've seen the statistics too. And the same when it comes to housing and stuff, that immigration is negatively affecting that. No, it's you're not allowed to say that publicly, but Micheál Martin's after letting the cat out of the bag. I don't know, did he mean to say it? He might have banged his head last night and forgot about it, took too much alcohol or something. But he basically said that, immigrants are making up the majority of homeless people in this country now. He could be right now, maybe he'd be a bit wrong, but looking at the figures, he might be right. Um, and of course, we're bringing them in here to lie on the street and stuff. But of course, they're getting looked after and too. There's free food given to them, etc. Of course, all on the Irish taxpayers' expense. We get to that in a second. Biden's making accusations, but Micheál Martin was actually making sense today, like actually talking sense. Like, my God, the man's actually speaking some sense. But yeah, so basically he said the fact out loud, but he didn't say about housing. He should have probably said housing too. Of course, the huge amount of people that we're bringing into the country is having an impact on rents and stuff. Of course, putting up the price of rent, accommodation, etc. But he won't say that. He won't come out and say that. But like he did say today about the homelessness, and he's right in saying it because there's so many people coming over here just to lie in the streets of Ireland, and of course we're paying for them to be looked after, etc., fed, etc., and other free stuff. But yeah, but the other thing I will say, the government are ending the Ukrainian scheme that for 18,000 hotels, etc., 18,000 hotel rooms and Airbnbs. No, not Airbnbs and stuff. So a huge amount of Ukrainians will be going home within the next year, basically. Now I don't know what they're doing it for. There's some reason why they're doing it. They're not doing it the goodness of their heart. There's something behind it. I don't know what's coming out because I don't know why they're doing it. It's why all of a sudden. If that makes any sense. I'm very suspicious about it because they're doing it for something. I don't know what they're doing it for, but they're up to something. That's what they say. It is about time, but I'm suspicious of why now. That's them. If you get what I'm saying, then I think there's a bigger picture here. I think there's something else happening in the background, but it's hard to know what it is exactly. But there's something behind it. I'm not sure what it is, but there's something behind it. Because why all of a sudden now? That's what I'm taking. But I could be wrong. I could be just being conspiracy theory. But well, what accusation are you making, Brian? I'm surprised you don't train an AI. What do I know about AI? I don't know anything about AI. We've got nothing to do with a backwards looking idea of AI. You can chat to whenever you want. That'd be the most sus thing imaginable. I'm not doing that. No, I don't even know what an AI. Like, I don't know how to even make an AI and stuff. Like Micheál Martin was to bang his head today. Like, that's all I say. Like, I think he actually did. I think he actually banged his head today. Like Micheál Martin. Me whole. Yeah, it's only a drop in the ocean, but still at the same time, it probably would save a good bit of money too. Like, when you do think of it, it probably would save a bit of money. Not a huge amount, but it still would save probably a bit. And then, of course, I don't know why they're randomly doing it now, but Hello, Sean. We were just talking about you. Did you get your notification? Because I was going to say Sean's going to be insane about notifications. They're bringing somebody in the house in another place. That's probably what they do. But I don't know. Like, I'm very suspicious about it. I don't know if it's to do with the. It could be to do with the fucking something else. I don't know what exactly it could be to do with. But there's something behind it. I'm not sure what it is, but there's something definitely behind it. I don't know what they're trying to do, but I could be wrong, but I'm not sure. I'm very suspicious about it. That's what I'm trying to say. Because Simon Howes came out and said, "Oh, it's costing the state too much," and he's right in that. There's no disputing that. But why now? We've been saying this for the last 4 years, and nobody's listened to us. And why now? Why all of a sudden now Simon Howes is like, it's costing us a lot of money, after me saying and other people saying it for the last 4 years. They're like, it's costing us a lot of money, after 4 years of it. You get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't really make much logic in it. I could be wrong. But I don't know why all of a sudden he's just like, it's costing us a lot of money, after people saying it for the last 4 years. You get what I'm saying? It's not like it just turned up today, So I don't know exactly what it is, but yeah. You beat me to it. Not just. But yeah, so that's that. Sup up, sup, sup. What else was I going to say? Those other things. Oh yeah, I suppose people have heard about the prostitutions. Um, that sounds a bit sus. I suppose people have heard about the prostitutes near Leicester House. Now there's prostitutes in Leicester House too, but the prostitutes that's in an apartment near Leicester House, supposedly, allegedly, of course, too. But supposedly, one of our senators has been saying about it that there is probably a criminal gang, um, probably members of the Oireachtas, but that they have like they're trafficking girls into Ireland to abuse them and stuff. So now who knows if that's true? They already have not bothered to investigate. You think we're not Drew House. Drew House is not there anymore, but you think some of them would be bothered to go and look into this. The Gaudi and stuff. So I don't know where they are. I don't know what the Gaudi are doing. The Gaudi are probably busy arresting some woman for talk crime. But I don't know what. My favorite website, I don't even know of it. I never would go near it. Like it should be very harsh for prostitution and stuff. It should be, well, it is illegal in this country, but it should be very harsh treatment. It's not so much to the women involved. A lot of them are trafficked and stuff, but for the people with spots. But there was one in Monaghan that was doing it. There was one in Cavan actually in Ballyconnor. Thankfully, the Gardaí did it after years of me shouting at them to do it, to do something about it. But they finally did. In fairness, they got him. Eventually, they done something about it. They got him and dealt with him. He's a Romanian, but they finally did it because I was literally shouting at them for years. And the same was in Cavan Town. There was one operator, and I was shouting at the Gardaí for years to do it, to do something about it. And they were like, "Oh, we can't just do it. We have to get a warrant and all that shit." But but if I made a thought crime here and said something about my local councillor, to be in straight away to deal with me. But yeah, no, I don't know how true it is, but you think the Gardaí would be straight away looking into it or putting out some statement to say, yeah, we're looking into it, we're going to get back to people on this. But yeah, no, human trafficking, yeah, makes sense because Ireland is the worst in Europe in human trafficking. But yeah, it's a terror that, there's not much word about it. You think the Gardaí would be putting out a statement or doing something. And then we know who the member of the Oireachtas was that groomed this. Like, there was basically making, like, imagine this. He was a former TD and stuff, 3 TD. Like, I don't know what kind of lunatic he is, but he literally took up for a person that was abusing a 13-year-old boy. Think about that for a second. So think about that. Just think about that one for a second. And the Irish state didn't want to release his name. Now, in fairness, he came out in the end, like after a week or two, and finally said that it was him, What is this? Sorry, I'm missing Biden's comment. It's not illegal to put. Yeah, it's illegal to hire one, but pretty much it is illegal. Like, it's not allowed in this country. It's not acceptable. It shouldn't be acceptable now, too. You can get into trouble, yeah. But no, but the thing about it is the Gaudi couldn't be bothered to do it, too. Like, the same with the time in Cavan. I shouted at them for years to do something about it. And look, I shouted at a lot of the councillors to do something, but they wouldn't do anything, too afraid to do anything, too. Because a lot of them were connected to organised crime. A lot of them were foreign nationals too. But I mean, the people behind it, like the fellow that was in Cavan was Romanian, and they were too afraid to do anything about him. Now, if I was a sitting TD and stuff, I'd be sending in the army. That's what I'd be sending in to deal with them, or sending in to deal with the people behind it. I could be bringing back. Well, this is human trafficking and stuff. A lot of the cases are women being taken advantage of and being trafficked into the country. So I would nearly say, if I was in government and stuff, I would be bringing the death penalty for whoever's operating a brothel or stuff like that. I would be bringing the death penalty, strip as that. They'd have less than a month to live if they're caught. I know that sounds very harsh, but that's what we'll deal with them. Yeah, see, this is the thing too. You could technically go into a charity shop. This has happened before, like with things, and they turned out to be stolen. and the person was arrested. That happened down in the country a few years ago, and there was a big hullabaloo about it because the fellow went into the charity shop. Now he didn't know it was the stuff was stolen, and he said, "Oh, that's a nice thing there. Like it was a statue or something, and it was stolen from some house." And the Gardaí made inquiries and stuff and found out in the charity shop that this person bought this in the charity shop. Totally legal, just to say, too, because he bought it in the charity shop. So the person that stole it brought it into the charity shop for whatever reason, because probably was useless to them. They didn't want it, probably. And the person went in and bought it. And the Gardaí went and arrested him, because he bought it. He was handling stolen goods. I think the case was thrown out of court because at the end of the day, I don't think they could really. They did arrest him, but when they went to court, I think the judge was like, what are we arresting him for? Like, in fairness, the judge was like, what the fuck are we doing this for? So that happened before. Um, you know. Yeah. But as I say, that's what should happen to these people that trafficking women, especially into brothels and stuff, sex work, etc. The executioner should be ready for them, and that's what I would presume because that would put them from doing it. Well, not the women. I'm not saying the women. The women have been trafficked and stuff, but I'm saying the people who have taken advantage of these women. They deserve no mercy. But the women, like if they're being trafficked against their will and stuff, being forced to do it. We don't hold, and I don't hold them responsible for doing it. It's the women maybe that are not doing it of their own free will in a lot of cases too, for money on the side and stuff. That maybe we should probably look into. Not so much the harsher penalties, but they shouldn't be doing it. But if there was women being trafficked into Ireland, in this case, what I'm talking about, Leinster House, it seems like these are foreign women that have been trafficked into the state. But of course, they shouldn't be able to be trafficked into the state. The border should be very secure. That these women couldn't get in unless we know everything about them and why they're coming here, what they're doing. But yeah, Brazilian national too, but it's mainly Romanians and Brazilians. You could actually be right. Sorry, I might be mixing that up with somebody else. Yeah, sorry, it is a Brazilian. You're right, actually. It's a Brazilian, yeah, because he was from South America. You're right, actually. Um, or was it? Yeah, there's that many brothels. It might actually be. I don't know if it's Romania, but the fellow in Cavan, he was a foreign national. He was either from Romania or Brazil. I can't remember where it was from. And then there was one in Monaghan. But I could be mixing them up because there's that many of them. Um, yeah, but they get obviously a cut too. Because there was one woman talking before. Like this was in England. Uh, like the pimps do take a lot of the money, like the people that control the women. Um, but they do get stuff too to keep them shush, to keep them hush. Um, I don't want to know, Ryan. Be totally honest. They get drugs too, yeah. Like a lot of these women do be drugged to the last, yeah. Um, but yeah, it was not even that too. A lot of these women would be getting like the people that they'll be meeting and stuff would be probably very violent individuals and stuff. There's been often times in the UK and stuff that women got the heads bet of them by men and stuff. And stuff. And of course, they couldn't go to the police because if they went to the police, what were you doing? As being a sex work and stuff because they get in trouble. In a lot of cases, they are illegals in the country. They're not supposed to be in the country in the first place. So if they go to the police, police will be saying, "What are you doing in the United Kingdom and stuff?" It hasn't so much happened here. Maybe it's happened a few times, but I know there's been a good lot of cases in the United Kingdom like that, where women were attacked because they met a male and they beat the head of them. You know, um, but of course it is illegal, of course, too. In the eyes of the law, too, it is illegal to pay for sex and stuff in the eyes of the state, unless it's consensual. The Irish state wants to bring in the law that I don't know if it's passed yet. I remember reading through it to do with landlords, and this is to do with rented properties. That there's things happening in Ireland. It's happened in Cavan before, um, where the landlords would take advantage of young college girls, trying to get out of the mother's house or the father's house, and would charge them for instead of the money. Say, for example, €400 a week, for argument's sake. And it was a young, attractive college girl. The landlord would say, "If you give me, you'll come to my bedroom every week. Um, we'll not worry with the money." If that makes any sense. Um, Yeah, it should be legal. I think the Irish state is bringing a law for that. Because it is taking advantage of women, particularly young women. It's happened before. It's happened in Cavan before. I'm not going into details, but wasn't much done about it because, in the eyes of the Irish state, what I could gather at that time, this was a few years ago, in the eyes of the Irish state, this woman consented to it because she could have said, no, I don't want to stay here. I don't want to do it. Which is fair enough because, in fairness, the man said it straight up to her that he wanted sex in terms for her staying in this apartment. He wouldn't take the money, but as long as she came over to him every week and done her business with him, um, he wouldn't take money for it. And again, this was a woman, young girl just coming out of going to college and stuff. And again, eventually she went on go to Sinn O'Connor, but as the eyes of the state pretty much said, she pretty much could have said no, because he pretty much said to her, if you do this for me, if you give me jobs every few weeks, um, we overlook the money. If that makes any sense. So she pretty much knew from day one. But I suppose there's the other way you could look at it, and it's the way I would say it, that she wanted to get out of her mother's house and stuff, and she wanted to kind of be on her own and live in her own place. Um, but it shouldn't be acceptable too in a society that sort, because again, I suppose she kind of felt like she was pressurized into do it too. But in terms of the Irish state, the way the Irish state seen it, they got on Garda Sín O'Connor. This one was over 18; she was 19 at the time. And the Irish state, because if she was under 19, under 18, it would obviously be a lot more serious because this man was nearly 40. Even though there's a huge age difference between 19 and nearly 40 years old, he was 37 or something. But the Irish state pretty much said she consented to it, and that's the way they've seen it. But he was, she said, he was very open. Like the first thing he said, "This is the way it's going to be," which she could have just said straight away no. She should have probably said straight away no. But Tykefish, she didn't put up with it for much. Like, he only put up with it for a few months. But it was totally wrong. It should be legal. I think the Irish state are bringing laws in for that because it is happening, especially to a lot of young women. It should be legal. No, it should be legal. No, of course not. It should not be legal. No, of course not. It should not be legal. No, it should be not. It should be not allowed. No, it shouldn't. It's not acceptable in a society. Especially because again, a lot of these landlords will be taking advantage of young women and stuff, and sometimes young men too. There's cases of that too. I don't think it should be allowed, because at the end of the day, it's either you pay cash or no way. That's the way I see it. You're paying the rent. You just pay the rent and stuff like that. You don't do any jobs or anything like that. You get what I'm saying? My choice. Yeah, but no, but see, like this girl situation, I understand. But at the same time, too, she didn't really want to do it. She didn't really want to do it. Because she went to go to Sinn O'Connor about it, so she didn't really want to do it in the first place. But a lot of women feel pressurized to do it. That's the thing. But it's not really transactional, because in the eyes of the state too, and why they want to bring in legislation, that it's supposed to be you pay cash. That's a transaction. But there was nothing ever done about it, because the Gardaí basically said it was consensual and stuff. But it is happening still to this day. But I don't think it's right, and that's as simple as that. And if I was in government too, it would be brought in too. It'd be different if now the people in a relationship and stuff, but it was like thing every week and stuff. No. Well, no, she felt that the way, because it was a big thing back a few years ago. She'd said that she never really wanted to do it. And that's so. But she did consent and stuff to it. But because she could have said the first day no, if that makes any sense. No, I won't do it. But a lot of these women don't want to do it, because a lot of them would have boyfriends, would have boyfriends and stuff, and especially in a lot of these cases too. No responsibility for their actions, but this is the thing. Like, you could say that she could have said no and stuff, but it still shouldn't. The man shouldn't be asking for rent, if that makes any sense. And especially because the man too, you have to remember too, it was only found out later on. She only found out later on that he had a girlfriend. So he was basically like doing this young woman that was 19, and he was 37 or 38, and he already had a girlfriend too. So you have to remember that too. Um, so it was quite a fucked up situation. But I don't think it should be allowed, and it should be a crime. It should be a crime too, because either you pay with money or pay no way, and that's the simple that. But no, this is the thing. Like she didn't ask you, man. He came out and said it to her. You know, and the reason why he picked her because many people put in applications to get this apartment. Like it was men and stuff. He specifically picked women. Like he picked young women that were on their own. So we kind of seeking them out. You know, like Tiff said, if I wanted to go to went out his apartment, he wouldn't let me rent it out because I'm a man and stuff. Um, but I don't think he's doing it anymore. I think he sold the apartment after that. You know, and rightly so because it was a very fucked up situation. But it's happening still to this day, not even just in Cavan, across the country. That's just one example that I know of, and I know who the woman is and stuff. But um, you know, I know people say my body, my choice and stuff, but technically, you know, she's only renting an apartment. That's the way I see it. Um, like there's been cases in the United Kingdom and stuff. I've heard of it too, and in some other places in Europe, uh, where the woman that was renting the apartment became pregnant and stuff because a lot of the landlords wouldn't use protection and stuff, and they would have boyfriends and stuff. There was a case one time in England. The landlord, of course, was sex to rent. Um, the landlord wouldn't use protection and stuff, and she got pregnant. And of course, she'd explain to her boyfriend how she became pregnant and stuff. So, and of course, that you know ended their relationship and stuff. And now she's a single mom with a kid, and the landlord won't take responsibility and look after the child and stuff. Because I've seen it before. There was a documentary done about it. Well, not a documentary, but kind of a report done of it. Because basically, like the landlord made her pregnant, didn't want to know, threw her out after was pregnant. Because the landlord had a wife too, so you have to remember that the landlord literally was cheating on his wife, and didn't want to take responsibility. Never took responsibility for the child, and then her boyfriend left because obviously she was fucking another man. So, um, and so she basically was left on her own with a child. So, and that's not fair. That isn't fair. Yeah, like, but in fairness, he got 3 years or something like that. So yeah, there is accountability because he would never he'd be always known as Quisling. Like he's known as the Quisling of Cavan now. So he never going to recover. He never hold public office. He'd never be back in this county again. He have to go far away from this county. He's never going to be accepted back into this county. So he's going to be probably in Brazil or somewhere else. He's going to go somewhere else. But no, like it's not illegal, of course not. But what I mean by that is, like, if you had a partner, and your partner got pregnant because the landlord and stuff like that had a wife, had a wife and stuff, you're not going to look after that child. Like in a lot of cases, the men won't do that. Because marriage and stuff, like in a relationship, it's all about loyalty. When you really think about it, it's all about loyalty. That's what it's all about when it boils down to it. It's all about loyalty to the person. Either be the man and the woman, That's what it all boils down to, really, in a way. But in this case, I don't know. It's hard to know because you can say that the woman done it consensually with the landlord, but you can say that the landlord should have been a lot more careful what he was doing, especially when he had a wife, and I think he had children actually too. And he took no responsibility for the child that he made come into the world, and then he just left her, threw her out the place, and left her on the side of the road. And then her boyfriend too left her, because obviously, why would he look after another man's child? After her, cheating on him and stuff. But it's a very difficult situation. I do feel for the woman because at the end of the day, she is looking after a child on her own. It's not easy. And going by what I was just reading, this was a few years ago, but going by what I looked at and what I read and stuff in the interview, like it seems like her boyfriend was very loyal boyfriend. done a lot for her, and and she would often done that too. So you can kind of understand why the boyfriend left her too, in a way, because it did seem like because he did pay for trips and stuff for her and stuff. He seemed like he was a nice enough man, but that's what I'm saying too. So it should be really illegal too, because it can break relationships and stuff. Um, but I do like the Irish state are bringing in legislation. It's very slow, but it shouldn't be allowed. I think majority of people would agree with that. I don't know about you, Brian, but I think the majority of reasonable people in this country would agree with that, because unfortunately, there's a lot of people take advantage of women and stuff, especially now because people are very desperate to get housing and stuff. And I do think it's wrong. To be totally honest with you. Now you can argue about people consenting and stuff like that. We can argue till the cows come home. Um, but yeah, I don't know how we even got into that. How did we even get there? How do we even come to this part? But how did we get to this part? Does anybody know? What happened that we got here? Does anybody know? Because I can't even remember how we got to that. What was it to do with? I think it was to do, yeah, with the thing. Knows all the scandals. Well, not really scandals, but gossip. um, but yeah. But it depends on, I suppose, what you're talking about exactly, because there's many different things you could be doing. The whole day of taking advantage. In some cases, they do. Like, let's be fair. Um, like the porn industry and stuff like that does take advantage of women. Like, it's very clear. There's a lot of women that are young, impressionable women, and they take them in and stuff like that. And even in Hollywood, as you were just saying earlier on, there's a lot of celebrities and stuff who take young women in and stuff and use them and stuff. Um, it depends on what you're saying. Like, in some cases, maybe so, but in a lot of cases, not so much, because it's just the unfortunate turn into the modern world that a lot of women, considering a lot of men think of them as objects, and like Donald Trump and stuff like that. Like, he doesn't have any time for women and stuff. Um, like, he just thinks of them as objects, and that's the way I think he takes of women anyway. And the same with other people; they think nothing of women. Yeah, she should have told her, but I suppose even the boyfriend wouldn't have been happy with it. Especially because the landlord too wasn't using protection and stuff. Like, it was bound to happen. She was going to be pregnant at some stage. Um, but it's just a fucked up situation. It really, really is. It's hard to know. Like, the landlord was wrong in the first place to be looking for that, in exchange for her living there. And the landlord was wrong too to leave her, to kick her out of her house, like to kick her out of the place that she was renting, just because he didn't want the wife to find out. Um, you know. But no, like, a lot of women are being taken advantage of, like in the porn industry particularly, um, and just in different parts of society too, like in the film industry and stuff. They talk about it. It's the same way on social media too. A lot of YouTubers, a lot of young women and stuff. Um, they show their ass and their tits and stuff like that, for a few likes and stuff on Facebook or on Twitter or whatever. Um, and it's degrading. This degrading for them and stuff. And especially because the language that's used to talk to them, etc. But it depends on the situation. It all depends. Like, if a woman goes out, um, it depends. I suppose it depends what situation we're talking about. Like, it all depends on the situation behind it. But in a lot of cases, men, a lot of the men just want one thing and stuff. That's what I'm trying to say. Especially when they're in positions of power. A lot of men are in positions of power. Like, you look around you, in politics, for example, prime ministers, presidents. A lot of them are women. A lot of them are men. The vast majority are men. And in position of powers and stuff, it's usually men. in the majority of cases, not in all cases, but in the majority of cases. But men are more, uh, what would you call it? It's hard to describe, but men would be more. I don't know how you would put it, but you get what I'm saying. But of course, everybody's responsible for their own actions and stuff. But see, this is the thing. A lot of men are not really that misled. Like a lot of women too. Like a lot of men, there was a survey done before. Like a lot of men don't question. Like a lot of men question when they're told stuff and stuff. Like very masculine men compared to women. Women usually go along with it. Whatever said, pretty much in a lot of cases. And they can be easily misled. Like in a lot of cases, they can be easily misled. Now, I don't mean to be sexist or anything like that, but they can be. There was surveys done before. It's to do with the brain and stuff. Like the male brain is a lot more combative and stuff. Like a lot more women are not as combative. Like men are very combative. You say anything to get man, what did you say? You know what I'm saying? It's like the hormones. Like a lot of women, are not so much aggressive and stuff. It's hard to describe, but I've seen things before, like studies and stuff, that's showing that. Um, yeah, usually, but that's usually what it should be, But yeah, that's what we were just saying about landlords and stuff. It happens. It's unfortunately happens all the time now, especially now. It'd be different if there wasn't a house in crisis and stuff. But there's a lot of young women coming out of secondary school, take for example, and they're trying to get places. Take for example, in college in Dublin or Sligo or somewhere, and it's happening. Unfortunately, it is happening, and it's probably happening to young men too. Like I've heard about it before, it happened to men. Like there would be a woman landlord, and she would take advantage of him. It is happening. But it all depends on the situation, Brian. It all depends on what the person's thinking too. Now, just to say, we're only going to 7 o'clock tonight, so we stay for another few more minutes because I have homework to do. But you could say, like in that case that we were just talking about, with the landlord in England. I don't know what, but I think it was in Gloucestershire. Has anybody ever heard of Gloucestershire? Somewhere like that, around there in England. This was a few years ago. But there was a documentary done. I can't think of it now. Sucks for you. Great stuff. But, what was I going to say? Yeah, like you could have said, like the woman could have said, I won't do this unless you use protection and stuff, especially because it was the landlord and stuff like that. You think she probably would have said, but maybe he wouldn't have used it and stuff, because I don't think she said ever to the landlord. She never questioned him, like why he wasn't using protection and stuff. If that makes any sense. As far as I know, because she didn't say it in the interview. No, we're not going to do that. But at least they don't need to fight it. But I want to kind of get it done with tonight. So yeah. But she could have said why we're using that. It was such a topic to be going into, but I suppose it is important to talk about because it is happening. Unfortunately, it's not the nicest topic to talk about, especially me being a Christian boy and stuff like that. We shouldn't be talking about that. That kind of devilish, Jesus Christ, be praised. Damn, oh jeez, yeah, time flies. Like you won't find it. Like things fly, like time flies. It's insane. But yeah. Yeah. If you were Santa's landlord, Jesus, Santa wouldn't need a landlord. She owns her own place. No, I wouldn't. If it was Prime Minister and stuff, of course, if I knew who Santa was and stuff, I wouldn't charge rent, of course. But she owns her own place and stuff. That's unfortunate. Yeah, see, but a lot of women, but a lot of people do take in general. You often hear bad stories and stuff. You often hear bad stories of things happening and stuff. You never think it would happen to you. Take for example these people that went to Morocco. They probably like there's probably many stories like YouTube videos we can look up now of people that went to Morocco and thought it was a lovely place. You never think it's going to happen to you if that makes any sense when you go to it. You know, it's just an unfortunate thing. But it all depends the people you come across. Like you could go to Morocco, you could meet nice people. It just all depends. You could come across the wrong person, and that's all it takes. And unfortunately, just a spin of the dice. Her mother and her daughter, yes, I know that, yeah. But I still would take them in if if it was a landlord and stuff. But send them out, wouldn't be wet in the apartment now. Hopefully we'll blow faster, yeah. But I don't know. I'd rather kind of get it done with, especially when you're dyslexic. It's not easy. It isn't easy, even though it's not the most. It's not big. It's not a huge thing. No, it would not. That's illegal. You can't actually do that. Like there's a law. You can put it in areas like stairwells and stuff going into people's apartment, but you can't do it in the apartment. There's a law against that here in Ireland too, like for rented accommodation inside the place. Like the landlord legally can't have it there, like in the kitchen, for example. Unless it's a shared kitchen, that's the only place they can have it. But they can't have it in like somebody's private house. Yeah, of course. She would spend a lot of time with Emma. He's from research doing it. No. I only know because there was a case a few years ago where the landlord was recording the people. And they found out and stuff, and they went to court and stuff, and they could specifically remembered that the prosecutor was quoting this part of the law. Because again, I keep an eye on what's happening in the courts. And the prosecutor was saying this part of the law, because when you sign a tenancy, like a rent thing, you sign a tenancy thing, it says there too in the contract too that you can't, like the landlord legally can't just start filming, like have cameras in the room. Like they can have it on the outside, yeah. They're legally allowed to have it on the outside. Or take for example, if you have multiple apartments, say the landlord owns 3 apartments, and there's a shared kitchen, take for example, the landlord can legally have it in the shared kitchen, but they can't have it in the private kitchen. But they can have it on the stairwell. You know the way, if say there's an apartment here, and there's an apartment down here, and then the other apartment's there. He can legally have it on the stairs, like to see who's coming in and out. He can legally do that, but they can't do it in the property itself. Unless it's a shared. If it's a shared area like a sitting room and stuff, yeah, you can do that. But you can't have it in the bedroom, or you can't have it in the bathroom, especially not a bathroom. But it's the same with premises. There's a law to do with premises that you can't have it in the toilets, for example. There's a law in this country too about that they can't have cameras in the toilet. They can have it on the outside, yeah, when you're walking in. Like say the toilet's here and the door's here. You can legally have it on the outside to see who's coming in and out. But you can't have it in the toilet itself. It's very important, yes. But of course her father too. Sanna's ex-husband. It's very good with her daughter too. Is around a good bit. Um, Sanna. What made her husband leave her? What are you on it? Like she talks about it on. She talks about it in Hope and Action. Um, like the specific line, like if you've seen the review, like she says, she did like the connection wasn't there, and especially when she was prime minister, like she had no time pretty much at all to spend with her husband and stuff. Like she even says in the book, she better sometimes got seeing her husband, and the same with her daughter sometimes, especially during COVID times and stuff. Um, so yeah, it wasn't. It was just that the connection broke down. You know, the relationship broke down because she was working all the time, um, and that's pretty much how it happened. No, hoping that. But no, but it was just I think too much. Like the relationship was very strained by everything. That's what it was about, pretty much. Because obviously there was a huge amount of stuff going on. Um, but you have to remember, it's Anna's ex-husband. They've been together, like they were together literally half of their life. Like she knew him since she was 14, just to say. So quite literally together all their life, pretty much. Not even that, sorry, I'm lying to you. 10 years old, that's how long she knows him since. So, yeah. Yeah, of course, but but her ex-husband does look after the child a lot. Like she still calls, like in the book too, she says she's his like she's his best friend, you know. Like specifically in the end of the book, where the fuck am I? Acknowledgements. Hello, James. I'm not even that's that question, but I'm just trying to find specifically what she said. I think it was near the end. Yeah, like see, she says to hear about her daughter Emma. I'm so grateful that I had the privilege. Like this is to do with her husband to share my life with you for so many years. That we have a beautiful daughter together, Emma, which is my greatest joy, and I'm proud of you. Uh, with such bringing such love to my life and stuff. So it's she's still very fond of her husband. Like it's not like a like even when the book was being released and stuff. Um, like she invited her ex-husband to the event. Now I was invited too. I was invited to the other event. Like she had a private event after the event I met her at. That was in the one that was in the University of Helsinki. Basically, there was 3 events. Basically, what I'm trying to say. So that's basically what happened. So basically, there was 3 events happening, and that's basically what happened. Student rates now. What do you mean student rates in regards to what? Sorry. Oh, haircut you're talking about. No, I meant to go and get me a haircut, but I haven't got around to it. I'll probably wait for another while yet. Who is this? Sorry. Sudi, I think. Sorry. Apologies if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Hope we're well. Good evening. I hope all is well. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right. James talking sexual harassment in the workplace. Like yeah, actually, funny enough, when we were in school and stuff, like when we were talking about sexual harassment and stuff in the workplace, one of the teachers were like when he was describing it. Oh, I wasn't expecting this one. Michael D. Higgins, Uachtar on the Heron, former Uachtar on the Heron, has returned 2.6 million to the Irish state. Wow. Okay, fair enough. Good man, Higgins. So there you go. Yeah, just breaking news actually happening. That the former Uachtar on the Heron, Michael D. Higgins, has returned 2.6 million in a salary and allowances to the Irish state. In fairness, fair play to him, in fairness. I didn't like Michael D. Higgins, but in fairness, he's done the right thing. So there you go. The state has 2.6 million with you. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just seeing that there. I'm actually very surprised with that. So yeah, 2.6 million with you. Yeah, but in fairness, he didn't need the money. He doesn't need the money. No, and then I know, and I think the way probably I said it, yeah, maybe, because I was generally surprised. I wasn't expecting seeing that on my plate. I was very surprised. I didn't think I would see it. That's the journey on to. I wasn't expecting because I just logged on there and I seen it there, and I was like, oh. So, but yeah, so yeah. In fairness to Michael Higgins, I'm not going to shit on him, man. In fairness, he done the right thing. Because he doesn't need the money. He doesn't need it. He has a big pension too for being president. Um, Not Jason, talking about threat to violence, James. But he doesn't need the money. Like he's getting a former minister's salary and a chocolate dollar salary. Like he's getting a huge amount of money. Like he doesn't need it. He's a rich man. He doesn't need the money. So he's done the right thing. In fairness, I'm not going to sit here and say he didn't. He did the right thing. So yeah. He has a few pensions. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Oh no, we're not going to do fucking YouTube boxing fucking matches. That's Jake Paul's and stuff. I don't want to take that business. So there we go. So anything else? I think we pretty much talked about everything that we wanted to today. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he doesn't need it. Like he's 83 or something like that now. And his daughter's a senator too, and she the wife was had a big job too. Like they're all wealthy people, basically have millions, hundreds of millions. You get what I'm saying? They don't need the money. Simple as that. They don't need it. And it's no good to them because they only have another, like Michael Higgins and stuff, only has another few years at most, because he's well bet compared to years ago. Because he's 83 and stuff, but he maybe only has another 20 years. You get what I'm saying? No disrespect to Michael Higgins, but lies. That is hate speech. Bringing in the hate speech, though. The blonde lady from Cork. You're talking about Holly Cunt. Are you mad? Just to say. Yeah, his daughter's in the Senate, yes. Holly Cunt, wow. Like she was shouting me her Martin down today, Holly Cunt, about him saying about they were shouting like Holly Cunt was shouting me her Martin down today about talking about people from other countries coming in here to sleep in the streets. She didn't want that being said, so yeah. Yeah, thank you. No bother. Yeah, I know it's well did. People are only coming home from work. I appreciate you being here. I know I'm probably pronouncing your name wrong, but thank you for being here. I appreciate it because it's hard to pronounce names and stuff because I'm dyslexic and stuff. So apologies for that. I hope I pronounced it at least some way decent. See, that's the worst thing about being dyslexic and stuff because you pronounce things wrong. Like even when I was at my college course Monday, I pronounced something wrong. At least when you're used to seeing say for example Fiona's name or Saoirse's name or even Aaron Oney's name, you're used to kind of pronouncing them, ask the social media, although yeah, they won't, you never get an answer to that, so you might, yeah, I don't know what Holly Cohn's accent is, but yeah, I thought it would be a lot more stronger, but maybe I'm just fucking delusional. Delusioned. But anyway, I have to go and do homework. So is there any last few things people have to say before I go and do my homework? Too bad for you. Oh, that's nice. Thank you for taking the time to. The dog ate my homework. I don't think this is gonna. That's gonna work out. Who? What? Who? Sorry. Who's what? Drug? What? Oh, you're talking about Holly Cohen. Sorry, James. Yeah, I don't think the dog ate my homework is gonna work out. Well, I know. Maybe on this occasion, but I don't think so. Because see, the thing we've got a computer too, like to use to write up things. Are you talking to me? No, I have a computer, so the dog ate the computer. I'm just trying to say to me. Because I don't know, can the dog eat the computer now? I don't think they can do that. So I'm not going to say that the dog ate my homework on the computer. The dog ate my homework on the computer. But this is the thing. That could happen, but but unfortunately, I would have to show that Israel hacked my computer. Because unfortunately, if Israel did hack my computer, the Epstein files would be on it. So it sucks for them. Mossad, oh no. Oh dear. Oh dearie me. What was that? There was something else actually. Oh yeah, what am I saying? Friday is the 1st of May. And what we've got to say to you, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, be praised. Are you talking to me? I hope mine's in, of course. I'm not interfering with anybody. Not doing anything with anybody. Us Irish Catholic people have to be single. Oh no. But yeah. Speaking about actually Irish Catholics and stuff, weddings, like a lot of people are doing it in the registry office nowadays instead of in the churches, like the weddings. Like a lot of people going to, like more people going to church now than there was a good while ago. Oh. Sorry, 1 second. What am I doing? Clicking things. Sorry, apologies. Nearly added you as a moderator there for a second here. So I clicked your name by mistake. I nearly added you as a moderator. There's discussions happening in the chat. Big discussions. Big discussions happening. This is not a dating website. This isn't a dating website, so you can take your business somewhere else. Actually, Speaking of dating, do you know actually Facebook has a dating kind of thing added into it? Did anybody know that? Like Facebook does actually have a dating thing. Can I show you this actually? Well, I'm not on the fucking thing, just to put it straight. Now it probably won't show me the fucking who and bastard thing. What? What? With? Where am I? Birthday offense game. Oh my fucking god! Facebook turned into fucking lunacy. Jesus Christ, people is where the fucking Jesus Christ. Excuse me, sorry, I'm having mental breakdown. I've seen this before, but now I can't find it. What the fuck? Oh no, man. What was it? I know. Yeah, I only figured this out a few weeks ago. It's full. Oh. Where the fuck am I? Sorry, I can't find it. I can't find it in my yoke. Am I stupid? Probably, yeah, but don't answer that question because I already know the answer to that one. What in the name of Jesus? No, that's totally. What am I here? Am I just totally blind? I could be just actually totally blind. Because it could be actually just staring me in the face here. Why is there so many fucking AIs on this fucking who and bastard thing? The who and bastard thing. I was coming up the road there now, and me Jesus, I come to the cross. I come to the cross. Fucking cavan thing. What in the name of God? I can't even find this fucking human bastard thing. The Hoon bastard thing was on its roof. Where am I missing that? Everybody's just fucking talking shit. Well, not talking shit, but you know, chatting each other up basically. Let me just try to find this. Sorry, give me a moment. Well, I wouldn't mind, but when I'm looking for these things, where in the name of God, I wouldn't mind, but it's been literally staring me in the face the last 5 months. And now when I go looking for the thing, there's nowhere to be found. It's just fucking typical. Tony's getting abused. Everybody's getting abused. Well, it probably wasn't that. I don't know if it lets put like numbers go through. I presume it does. It should let you go like numbers go through. I don't see why it wouldn't. It should probably let it. Where the fuck am I? Well, in the name of God and all that's holy. I can't even find it now. Like, I wouldn't mind, but as soon as I talk about these things, I can never find them. So, oh, here it is. That's probably it. Oh, that's the one fucking thing. Oh, here. It's staring me right in the fucking face. Like, yeah, like how I get these pop-ups, but with the Santa Marin picture too, on Facebook. Like, you know, every woman would be like, I'm already taken. Like, you know, they couldn't compare. But no, that's why I often get pop-ups with like this, you know, with my profile picture. I'm like, no, I'm not going on the dating thing with this. I give them a follow. Everybody's just giving out each other now. It's just turned into a civil war. But anyway, I think that's all she wrote for tonight. Because I actually have homework to do, things to do, people to see. The rest of that. The West has fallen. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. What's involved? Oh no, I don't know what Santa want to hear that one. Yeah, oh, it's not really homework. It's more, I could do it Friday. Because see, this is the thing. Friday, like I'm literally in there fucking nearly an hour before the class fucking even starts. So I could literally do Friday morning if I wanted to. But I like kind of just doing things and be done with it. So yeah, but yeah, I talk about it when it's all finished. I could talk about it in more detail. We'll go into details about it. But the South of Mouse Sniper, yes, the South Standard Stripe, yeah, it's very pog. So yeah, fairly good. Sisha, Jesus, you want the docs people now, and we're not docs people, but fucking find out people's locations. Jesus Christ, be praised. Well, she's where do you live? Tell me your location. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think I let these people just talk among themselves. Yeah, so I'd be to blame for this if anything happens. I've got a fast cow. Fast. Yeah, well, I'm not going to stop him. Yeah, it's a free country. He's entitled to give numbers out. But I don't know. I'd presume it lets you like just type it out in the chat if you wanted to. But anybody else could wing you. That's the only thing, James. So you could get some random woman from Brazil up and wing you. So you have to. That's just the thing. So you could just have some random woman from Brazil or somewhere. You could have Donald Trump or something in here. You randomly just say wing him. So Paul Keogh could wing you, yeah. Actually, I rang Paul Keogh's office and they couldn't ever ring me back. Disgraceful. I rang when he was there to give out to him and he wouldn't ring me back. He wouldn't answer my emails either. So yeah. But anyway, I let these people talk among themselves and discuss the relationship, etc. So yeah, enjoy your night, everyone. I'm sure it'll be interesting for some people. But yeah, that's an interesting comment. But yeah, take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night. I'm sure these two love boats are going to enjoy it. So yeah, take care, everyone. So if anybody gets married in the meantime, it's my fault. So yeah, take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the night, and of course, God save Santa. Thank you.